President Lee Jae-myung chaired his first cabinet meeting at the Blue House on Tuesday. While he was there, the top office announced that a summit between the leaders of South Korea and China would be held in Beijing next week. The National Assembly has launched a rare multi-committee probe into Coupang as questions mount over how the e-commerce giant handled a sweeping personal data leak and whether its leadership is evading accountability. Sales of merchandise at the National Museum of Korea came to a record high in 2025, all thanks to a rise in the popularity of Korean culture, from food and music to animation. A day after South Korea's presidential office returned to the Blue House, President Lee Jae-myung on Tuesday chaired his first cabinet meeting there. The meeting garnered great attention not only for its venue, but also for approving two controversial acts. Our Blue House correspondent Song Yoo-jin reports.
Presiding over his first cabinet meeting at the Blue House, President Lee Jae-myung described the return from the Yongsan presidential office as a milestone.
청와대 복귀는 헌정 질서 유린으로 얼룩진 용산 시대를 마무리하고 국민 주권과 민주주의가 제자리를 찾았다라는 점을 상징하는 이정표입니다.
His remarks referred to former President Yoon Suk-yeol's declaration of martial law at the Yongsan office last December. Tuesday's cabinet meeting also drew attention after approving two acts passed by the National Assembly last week under the leadership of the ruling Democratic Party. The first establishes dedicated tribunals at the Seoul Central District Court and the Seoul High Court to handle cases related to insurrection, rebellion, and treason. The law takes effect immediately, but ongoing trials will remain with their current judges. This means former President Yoon's insurrection case will continue to be heard by the existing trial panel at the Seoul Central District Court. The cabinet also approved the revised Information and Communications Network Act to curb the spread of fake news.
그냥 누구의 명예를 훼손하는 그런 문제가 아니고 순위 조작하고 이런 거는 업무 방해일 뿐만 아니라 정보 조작이라서 민주주의 체제를 위협하는 행위입니다.
Under the revised law, which will take effect 6 months after promulgation, individuals or media outlets that knowingly distribute such information for profit may be required to pay damages of up to 5 times the actual harm caused. The main opposition People Power Party opposed both bills, launching filibusters, arguing that the special tribunals undermine judicial impartiality, while warning that the revised Network Act could restrict freedom of expression. This was the last meeting of 2025, a year President Lee described as laying the groundwork for recovery and normalization after months of political turmoil. With the president pledging that 2026 will be a year of growth, attention now turns to how the administration will translate this vision into action. Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News.
President Lee Jae-myung will travel to China for a 4-day state visit next month. His spokesperson Kang Yoo-jung announced on Tuesday that the president will depart for Beijing on January 4th at the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping. The leaders will hold a summit followed by a state dinner. The Seoul-Beijing relationship, supply chains, and the digital economy are likely to top the agenda. President Lee also plans to visit Shanghai for a business event, among others. It will be his first trip to China since taking office. The two leaders last met in November in South Korea's Gyeongju on the sidelines of the APEC leaders meeting. The public will be able to read North Korea's state-run newspaper, the Nodong Shinmun, at designated facilities starting Tuesday, according to the Unification Ministry. The ministry stated that it has newly classified the newspaper as a general material, replacing its special classification. It's also working to lift the blocking of about 60 North Korean websites, including the Nodong Shinmun and the Korean Central News Agency. For this, the ministry will work with lawmakers to revise the law that currently blocks public access to them. North Korea has been stepping up its military activities in recent days. This comes after its state media said on Tuesday morning that leader Kim Jong-un visited a munition factory following his overseeing of a long-range cruise missile launch over the weekend. Our Park Won-woo has more.
North Korean state media reported Tuesday that leader Kim Jong-un visited a munitions factory that produces multiple rocket launchers capable of carrying nuclear warheads and called for a revolution in modernizing artillery weapon systems. According to the Korean Central News Agency, Kim inspected a major military industrial enterprise on Sunday, reviewing the production status of multiple rocket launcher vehicles. During the inspection, Kim was accompanied by senior officials, including senior party and military leaders. Kim reportedly said the factory plays a crucial role in implementing the ruling party's strategy to modernize and expand long-range artillery forces, while describing the weapon system as a core strike capability that would significantly strengthen the country's artillery power. He also said it features high precision and a powerful destructive capability and could be used in concentrated strikes during military operations, while praising the North's strength and technology. The visit comes amid a series of recent military-related activities by Kim. Also on Sunday, Kim reportedly observed a long-range strategic cruise missile launch, and the week before, he visited a nuclear-powered submarine construction site. He expressed the need to secure a strong production capacity to meet future munitions goals, which will be presented at the upcoming ruling party's 9th Congress early in 2026. 박건우, Arirang News.
With the trading ending on this year's stock market, South Korea's benchmark KOSPI closed as the world's top performer in 2025. Looking ahead to 2026, our Park Jun-an analyzes this with a year-end recap and a check on policy changes coming next year.
South Korea's benchmark KOSPI made a strong comeback in 2025, inarguably closing at a record high as the world's top-performing index. In 2025 alone, the KOSPI saw a remarkable 75.63% increase, from below 2,400 to 4,214. The market's gain was significant as it far outpaced the 17.4% rise of the S&P 500, which combines the United States' 500 most valuable companies into one index. The KOSPI's rally was predominantly led by semiconductor giants and sectors benefiting from a surge in exports. Mega-cap stocks that outperformed the market included Tusan Enerbility, SK Hynix, Hanwha Aerospace, and Samsung Electronics. The rally was further amplified by massive cash inflows from foreign and institutional investors betting on Korean stocks. Overseas investors poured in record amounts, drawn by the AI-driven rally. Government policies also played a key role in the index surge. These included the Corporate Value-Up Program, a revision to the Commercial Act aimed at enhancing shareholder returns and corporate governance. Starting in 2026, the securities transaction tax on the main KOSPI market will total 0.2%, following the introduction of a 0.05% levy in addition to the existing 0.15% special tax for rural development. Rates for the KOSDAQ, which tracks smaller tech-heavy firms, and KOTC, the Korea Financial Investment Association's over-the-counter market, will rise from the current 0.15% to 0.2%. Heading into 2026, the KOSPI's momentum will need to be sustained through continued government efforts to support the local market, alongside corporate earnings that meet investor expectations. The Korean stock market will be closed on Wednesday and Thursday for the New Year holiday. Trading will resume on Friday with a delayed opening at 10 a.m. due to the annual market opening ceremony. Park Jun-an, Arirang News.
One month after a massive data leak from e-commerce giant Coupang, South Korea's National Assembly has launched a rare multi-committee probe into not only the breach, but other concerns surrounding the firm. For more, we are joined by our political correspondent, Moon Hae-ryun. Welcome back, Hae-ryun.
Good evening, Tommy.
So, Hae-ryun, it's been a month since the whole issue broke out. Now, walk us through what's happened so far on everything that's happened since the issue broke out?
So as you said, Tammy, it's been a month since Coupang first revealed that there was a data breach involving the personal information of more than 33 million users. And since then, there's been controversy surrounding the way Coupang has been dealing with this issue. So let's take a look at the timeline of events. So immediately after the data leak was disclosed, the government formed a joint public-private investigation team into the breach, and the police launched a formal probe. This was then followed up with a search and seizure operation at Coupang's headquarters and a change in administration personnel. This shift has drawn widespread criticism from users, politicians, and government officials alike, saying that the firm's leadership is evading responsibility. And during the initial hearing at the National Assembly 2 weeks ago, it was very clear that the new interim CEO was not in a position to be answering questions, with politicians expressing frustration over the language barrier and scripted answers. The huge scale of the data breach has drawn widespread attention, and it was amid widespread criticism that Chairman Kim Bum-seok issued his first public apology after nearly a month since the incident. And just a day before the hearing today, the firm announced a compensation plan that involves discount coupons of 50,000 Korean won per person, roughly $35 that can be used in each of Coupang's services.
Right. Now, let's talk about the hearing that took place today. What did they address during the hearing today?
So bringing together 6 standing committees, this rare joint committee hearings really reflects the breadth of concern surrounding Coupang as lawmakers began by focusing on the scope and handling of the data leak. So members revealed a warning email from a former Coupang employee that contradicts the company's claim that only about 3,000 customer accounts were stored and deleted, instead suggesting a far larger data breach. Echoing lawmaker doubts over Coupang's internal investigation, Science Minister Bae Kyung-hun said more than 33 million names and email addresses were leaked, citing findings by the Personal Information Protection Commission, police, and a joint public-private probe. The hearing also saw sharp criticism over the absence of key executives, including Coupang founder and chairman Kim Bum-seok, who once again declined to attend. Lawmakers and officials accused the company's leadership of evading responsibility at a critical moment.
The Fair Trade Commission will closely monitor not only the cases currently under review, but also the company's social responsibility going forward.
Coupang's compensation package also came under fire, with politicians dismissing the package as insufficient and self-serving. They argue that it does little to address the anxiety and risk faced by victims.
It feels less like compensation and more like a deceptive promotion, pushing victims to spend more and propping up unpopular services.
Coupang's interim CEO, Harold Rogers, defended the compensation plan, calling it unprecedented in scale and voluntary in nature, and denying that it violates U.S. class action laws.
Then, Hyeon, with another day to go for the hearing, what can we expect in the weeks to come with regards to Coupang and its personal data leak issue?
So lawmakers from the main opposition, People Power Party, were actually absent during the hearing today because they've been arguing that the case should be handled through a parliamentary investigation as opposed to the hearings. But the ruling Democratic Party plans to push ahead with the hearings and pursue a parliamentary investigation separately, meaning that a parliamentary investigation could be underway soon. The government also announced that it will expand the joint public-private investigation team from about 10 members to 30 this week and will strengthen its all-ministry task force under the Ministry of Science and ICT. With pressure mounting from lawmakers, regulators, and investigators on multiple fronts, Coupang now faces intensified scrutiny that could lead to tougher sanctions, expanded investigations, and stronger oversight of major platform companies in the weeks ahead.
Hyeon, we'll be following what happens next for Coupang and its users, so do keep us posted. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
China has launched military exercises to comprehensively encircle Taiwan. This exercise is interpreted as a stern warning aimed at the U.S., which recently approved massive arms sales to Taiwan. Cha Young-kyung has more.
China launched military exercises in the waters and airspace around Taiwan on Monday local time. The Eastern Theater Command of the Chinese People's Liberation Army said it carried out drills near Taiwan, deploying destroyers, frigates, and fighter bombers in the northern and southern waters of the island. The command said the exercises tested the Navy and Air Force's ability to conduct joint and integrated blockade operations, and they achieved the expected results. Reuters reported that China's drills this time were the largest ever by training area. The Taiwan Ministry of National Defense reported that it detected 130 Chinese military aircraft and 22 naval vessels near its coastline for 24 hours. In addition, the Civil Aeronautics Administration of Taiwan's Ministry of Transportation announced that temporary danger zones would be established over the Taiwan Strait, prohibiting aircraft entry from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. that day. The drills came after Beijing expressed anger at the largest ever U.S. arms sale to Taiwan and at a statement by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, saying Japan's military could get involved if China takes action against Taiwan. Beijing added that the exercise was a stern warning against Taiwan independence forces and external interference, while Taipei called the Chinese government the biggest destroyer of peace. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
With the animated film K-pop Demon Hunters hitting a whopping 500 million plus views on Netflix, the global success has sparked a wave of interest in Korean culture. And not only has this boosted museum visits, but also the sales of traditional inspired merchandise. Our An Sung-jin has the details.
K-pop Demon Hunters, a unique animated film that blends K-pop with Korean history and heritage. Thanks to its worldwide success, this unprecedented fusion of music, culture, and animation has not only captivated viewers, but also led to more attention being given to traditional Korean culture. On Tuesday, the National Museum Foundation of Korea announced that the annual sales of its cultural products have been an all-time high. Sales of its merchandise, MUTES, which combines the words museum and goods, surpassed 40 billion Korean won, or $27.8 million for the first time, a record figure since the museum was established in 2004. Sales first exceeded 30 billion won in October this year, and just 2 months later, they crossed the 40 billion won threshold, setting a new record. Some major products include jewelry inspired by the Silla Golden Crown, miniature statues of Buddha, and other collections from the National Museum of Korea and its regional museums. Amid the film's groundbreaking success and the increasing global fascination with Korean culture, the National Museum of Korea has also seen a record-breaking 6 million visitors this year, setting the highest attendance since its opening in 1945. According to the arts newspaper, the museum now ranks 4th globally for the number of visitors, following the Louvre, the Vatican Museum, and the British Museum. With the entertainment industry continuing to evolve and expand, a museum official says that more content like K-pop Demon Hunters, which weave elements of K-pop into the Korean traditional industry, will continue to emerge, and that such content will captivate viewers with its modern twist combined with the richness of Korea's past. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
From art exhibitions to film, creative content is taking a larger role in Korea-France relations. As the space for cultural exchanges continues to expand ahead of the 140th anniversary of bilateral relations between the two nations. Our Oh Soo-young has this report.
Capturing color and creative energy through art and motion, Korea-France relations continue to broaden through cultural exchange. A contemporary art exhibition in Paris is bringing the works of 34 Korean artists, an eclectic selection from leading galleries and institutions in both countries. The theme is Colors of Korea, incorporating 오방색, the traditional 5 cardinal colors, among a variety of iconic color tones.
This work behind me is by the late artist Kim Chang-yeol. He's very well known as the water drop artist. But this work was created in the early years of his career, after he had been active in New York and then moved to Paris. So through this exhibition, even visitors who are not very familiar with Korean contemporary art come in and take the time to look at the artists' lives and their artistic practices.
As such, the exhibition aims to build resonance and connection.
French audiences tend to have a very high level of interest in culture, not only in their own, but other cultures as well. Not only young French people, but also those in their 30s and 40s, and even those in their 50s and older, now have a much higher level of awareness of Korea. As a result, interest in Korean culture has grown even further, and this is not limited to one specific field, but appears as a broader overall trend.
The exhibition is one of several programs run by the Korean Culture Center in Paris ahead of the 140th anniversary of diplomatic ties. Film screenings and performances organised by the centre also offer ways to engage in Korean contemporary culture. In recent years, Korean cinema and content have gained steady attention from French critics and audiences, with the growth of streaming and online video platforms. Guillaume Legos, who has developed some of France's largest productions, describes the impact.
Completely unique. I mean, Parasite, the movie Parasite.
Right.
Wow, it was something so new. It was very audacious, the direction, that's for the book, the scenario, and the actors were amazing. So Squid Game is another good example, and I could use the same terms about the success of this specific kind of movie and series.
Legos says the appeal reflects the shared passionate temperament of Koreans and French, and their love for music and drama.
From my experience, we are quite close from France to Korea. I would say that French culture is closer to Korea than many other countries. Even in Asia, I used to say that the Koreans are like the Latin of Europe.
He is hoping to bring more popular Korean content to the French market and stage live French performances in Korea. Legos' revival of the hit musical Le Roi Soleil is completely sold out, with discussions underway about touring in Asia, including Korea.
Well, I'm in discussion now with some producer. We have a partner in Seoul. We did Mozart with him a while ago, and we would like to bring Molière, which was a big success in France and touring now in China. Of course, Le Roi Soleil. I mean, to establish a bridge. And that's also why, that's what I was telling you, I'm really thinking that the French market, well, the European market in general, but French market specifically, is really ready to welcome Korean cultural projects.
Such collaborations are set to deepen in 2026 as part of a year of bilateral exchange.
Officials say more than 100 events have been scheduled to celebrate the 140-year milestone, with live performances, exhibitions and film festivals being staged across both countries. Arirang, Arirang News, Paris.
Cold weather is settling in as we head into the final days of this year. Today it only reached 2 degrees Celsius in Seoul, even during the day. Starting at 9 p.m. tonight, cold wave advisories and warnings will go into effect for the northern parts of Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do province. Tomorrow, the very last day of the year, it will stay below freezing all day. Then on New Year's Day, the cold really kicks in. The feels-like temperature in Seoul will plunge to -17 degrees in the morning. Most areas will start off with sub-zero temperatures tomorrow morning, with Gwangju at -3 degrees, Gyeongju at -5 degrees. Highs will rise up to 1 degree in Gwangju, Daegu, and Gyeongju. On Thursday, most parts of the country, except for the west coast of the Jeollado provinces, Jeju Island and Ulleungdo Island, will have good conditions to enjoy the first sunrise of the new year. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That's all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.